I'm Dr. Seema Matre, working as an assistant professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering at Kite Group of Institutions, Ghaziabad. Hello, my dear students. Welcome to JavaScript. Today, we will cover the topic DOM, that is, the Document Object Model, its properties, and accessing field values by the document object. Let's start with DOM. What is a DOM? Why it is required? What is the benefit? All this. So document object, it basically represents the whole HTML document. So whenever the document is loaded, it becomes a document object. It represents the current web page in the form of a tree of object. As being an object, it has its own properties and methods. So with this, it allows us to view. We can add, modify, delete any page elements and attribute in the script code. It is browser independent, language and platform independent. JavaScript can react to and also create new HTML event in the page. It is the object of window. Basically, document object is object of window. So, window dot document is same as document. The DOM model, as it is in the form of a tree of objects, can be represented in this manner. The document, the root element of the document is HTML. Different elements we are going to use. It starts with the head. Head contains the title and it contains another text. The another part of the root element is the body. The body can contain again several other elements. It can go with the headings, and again number of headings can be there, its text can be there, and P, which denotes the paragraph. So this is the hierarchy of a document in the form of a tree. It is very easy to manage it. We can view and we can make the changes with the help of this model. Now the properties of document object. Window object means it will always at the top of the hierarchy. It is the object, it is the property which represent that it is always at the top. Then it is followed by the document object. HTML document becomes a document object when it gets loaded into a window, when it becomes its part. Then form object. It is represented by form tags. Link objects. It is represented by link tag. Anchor object. It is represented by href tag. Form control elements. A form can have various elements such as the text field, buttons, your radio buttons, checkboxes, many more. Continued with it. So window at the top of the hierarchy. It is followed by the document. The document can contain different properties like the form, this form, anchor and the link. And the form again can contain several elements like text, text area and so on. Select, it is again consisted of various options. So this is the hierarchy of the document object. The document is present over there and it is the object of this window. And after that it has this several properties and we can use them according to our requirement. Now method of document object. The different methods. One we have already done, write and write ln. Write and inside the bracket we give any message. So it writes the given string on the document. And write ln, it denotes new line character at the end. Next one is get element by ID. It returns the element having the given particular identity or ID value. Get elements by name. As the ID is provided, as the ID is associated with the element, we can give name to the elements. So if we have given the name, it returns the elements having the given name value. Next, get elements by tag name. It returns all the elements having the given tag name. If you want to find out all the tag that are starting with P, it will return all that. Get elements by class name. It returns all the elements having the given class name. Now this is the document object model tree. As suppose we can create our own tree. So HTML table. Then after that we have made the rows. Then rows has one tr tag. The tr tag contains two td tag. One td denotes car, one td denotes scooter. And that row get finished. Now it has another tr. This rows has another tr. It has two td, one is motorbike, one is bus, and that tr get closed. The rows get closed, the table get closed. So in the form of this HTML, in the form of the tree, it will be represented like this. So at the top is the table, followed by the rows. The first row tr, it contains two td. One is this, one td is this. That contains the text car and text scooter. Then this row get finished. Another row started. This one, it has two td. One is here, one is here. And it has two text. One is motorbike and one is bus. And then finally, the complete HTML tree got finished. This is called HTML DOM, document object model in the form of tree. With this, like this manner, this is the formation of this text, this code which we have written over here. The DOM is basically a World Wide Web Consortium standard. It has to follow some rules. The DOM, it defines a standard for accessing document. Now, if we have written like this, so we have a particular standard. How we can access? If you want to access this tr, how will move table, then rows from there here, and we can access particular element over there. So DOM defines a standard for accessing documents. The W3C DOM, it is a platform and language neutral interface that allow programs and whatever the script we have written to dynamically access and update the content, its structure and the style of the document. If ever required, we can add any tag, we can add any element, or we can delete any tag. So we can make the changes according to our requirement. It is so flexible. So W3C DOM standard, it is separated into three different parts. One is core DOM, means it is a standard model for all document type. It is common. Then XML DOM, it is dedicated. It is a standard model for all XML documents. HTML DOM, it, it is a standard model for the HTML documents. So we are focusing here on HTML DOM. So it is an standard object model and programming interface for HTML. It defines the HTML elements and objects, the properties of all HTML elements, the method to access all HTML elements, and the events for all HTML elements. So this is provided in HTML DOM. So we can say HTML DOM is a standard to get, change, add, or delete any HTML element according to the requirement of a web, according to a document. Now DOM, programming interface, how we can do, how we can interact HTML DOM and with the help of HTML properties. Methods, what are the HTML DOM methods? They are the actions we can perform on HTML elements. And properties are the values the values associated with HTML elements. Those values which we can set according to our need, or we can change it. Now, the next one is DOM programming interface. What does it mean? That HTML DOM can be accessed with JavaScript and other programming languages. In the DOM, all HTML elements are defined as objects. The programming interface is the properties and methods of each object. The property means a value that we can get or set. Method, an action performed by adding or deleting an HTML element. So this way we can interact with our DOM. So it is not fixed, it is not rigid. We can change it according to our requirement. Now, how to access the field value by document object? So with the help of this complete syntax, we can access any of the object's value, any of the elements value. Here, document dot form dot, if any element of the form, if there is any element of the form, uh, every element has got a name, and with the help of that name, we can access its value. This is the complete way to get the value of input text by the user by using the syntax document dot form1. The first form we have given the name form1. Form1 dot name. Name is the name of any text box, and we will retrieve the value dot value. So here document is root element that represent the HTML document. So in this HTML document, there is a form having the name form1, because in a document there can be number of form. So we have given the name of the form is form1. Name, it is the attribute name of input text. Value, it is the property that returns the value of the input text. So with the example, we can look over here. So here form, we have given the form name form1. We have made an input type. We have selected a text box and its name is name. It can be anything. And then we have given a, we have placed a button over here and written event handler that on click, as soon as we click the button, print value method is called. And on that button, this value is written print name. It will be displayed. It is written over the button like this, print name. It is just displayed. So as soon as we perform the click, so on click, this is event handler, that as soon as we click this button, the print value method is called. And what it will do, it will retrieve the value from the name. What is the name? It is the name of the text box. So it will retrieve the value associated with the text box whose name is name. It can be anything. And the text box is placed inside the form1, and this form1 is the part of the HTML document. And what value is retrieved from there? It is placed in the variable name. And with the help of this alert window, it will display the message welcome along with the value which was retrieved with this statement. Okay, so we close our function, and when we execute, there will be a text button. And when we write, here it is written enter name, this enter name. So whenever we will write anything and we will press the button print name, the print value, it will perform its action and it will display the value which we have given in this text box. It will print it. The next one is get element by ID. As in this example, we have associated the name property. Same, we can use the ID property of any element. And in that case, we will access it with the help of ID. Okay, here as we have used the name, there we will give ID. Next, get element by ID. So it is to get value of the input text, but we need to define ID for the input field first. So here in the form, enter number, input type equal to text. We have created a text button, and before that text button, this enter number, this statement will be placed, and we have given an ID to this text box, and ID is number. And we have also provided the name. It's our choice. We can give ID or we can use number. Though you can provide both, you can give ID as well as the name. It's your choice. You can use it anything, either ID or either name. So it is not must that ID and name must be same. It can be changed. Okay, so ID we have used, name we have used. The next we have created a button, and on the button written cube, and as soon as we click on click, get cube function will get executed. Get cube. What is going to do? It will perform this. It will retrieve this statement. Document dot get element by ID. Here though we have given the name, but here statement is get element by ID, and ID is the number. So ID is, we will provide in its bracket, number dot value. This number ID, this number ID is associated with the text box. So whatever the value we have provided in this text box, it will retrieve it and it will give it, assign it to the variable num. And in the alert box, what it will do, it will find out the cube of that particular value, number into number into number, and in the alert box the cube will be displayed. So this way we can use get element by ID. The next one is get elements by name. Here as it is plural, elements by name, so it will return all the element of the specified name, all the elements. If in one name there are associated number of element, this can be possible in case of radio button. Number of radio button can be there, but they are associated with the same name. Their index can be different. Okay, so in that case it will return all the elements of specified name. We have created a form, input type equal to radio. Radio button will be created. Name is gender and value is male. So a radio button is there, and in front of it male is written. Next, for next, female is written. Input type equal to radio. Name, it's another radio button has got the name. Same, gender, because it is a radio button. What happens in the radio? At one time, only one button is clicked. If you click another, first one will deselected, unselected. Means among the several options, we can select only one. So number of elements are associated with one name. It means we can choose only one at a time. So both the radio buttons have the same name, but value differ. Okay, means we can access only one element at a time among this collection. Next, input type equal to button, and value written over there is total genders. And as soon as we click on click, the event handler will handle it by calling the method total elements. So it will move to the total elements. What it has done over here, document dot get elements by name gender. Means number of elements associated with this name. Number of elements which are associated with a single name will get collected over this variable. And with the help of this alert window, we can print the message total genders plus, and here what we have combined it with all genders, means the number of elements get collected over here that are associated with the name gender, they have assigned to the all gender, and from there we have used the property length. So it will give the total number of elements associated with this variable, and this variable contains all the elements that are associated with the name gender. So as it is the radio button, number of radio buttons can be there, but they all are under the same name. So we can easily find out all the elements that are associated along with that name with the help of this method. So in this case, total genders are this male and female. The genders are 2. So it will display the output 2. Next one is get elements by tag name. How many tag, if you want to find out how many tag we have used in our document, so we can use the get elements by tag name. It returns all the element of the specified tag name. Here h2, 1, 2, 2 times we have used h2, 1, 2, 3. 3 times we have used h3. So we have created a button on click, but we are doing count h2 method will be called. Okay, and on that button the label is count h2. Next, there is another button over which return count h3, and as soon as we click it on click, count h3 method will be called. So in count h2 method, what is happening? Document dot get elements by tag name h2. All the tags whose name is h2 that are used in the web page will be collected and assigned to total h2 variable, and with the help of this alert window it will display the message total h2 tags are this total h2 dot length. Same with the count h3. Document dot get elements by tag name h3. So number of h3 tag used over the document in a HTML document will be collected and assigned to total h3 variable. And then with the help of this alert window, a message will be displayed. Total h3 tags are, so how many there? Total h3 dot length. With the help of this length property, we can count how many h3 are available in the web page. So two buttons are there, count h2 and count h3. We have already created the two buttons and over them written count h2 and count h3. We will click count h2. h2 function will be called and it will print total h2 dot length. Total h2 dot length. So h2 there are 2 and h3 there are 3, and as soon as we will press the button, it is just a layout. So when we will press, the output will be generated. h2 total 2 with this message with the alert window. Total h2 tags are 2. The next, when we click total count h3, an alert window will appear with the length, that how many h3 tags are there. Next, inner HTML property, very important. What happens here? It is useful for getting or replacing the content of HTML element. With the help of this inner HTML, we can take the content and as well as we can change the content of any HTML element. So in this example, what we are doing, we are changing the text inside the p tag. In the p tag, whatever we have written, we are going to change it. So here, take this example. P, this p has, we have provided the id val. Okay, every element can we provide the id so that we can use it later on. So p, we have given the id val, and in this p, in this paragraph, we have written the message join hands for technologies. This message is written for this p. Next, we have created a button, and on that button we have written change text, and on click event handler we have associated over there. So as soon as we click, what happened? Change text function is called. Change text. As soon as this will be called, then document dot get element by id. Now this code, what it will do, it will collect the element which id is val. So here the id of which element is val, it is p. So it will take this element whose id is val. Okay, and after that, with the help of this inner HTML property, what it is doing, it is getting its original value. Get element by id val dot inner HTML means inner value. Whatever the content given over there in the p, which id is val. So what content is given over here? Join hands for technologies. So this function is doing that, it is collecting the value and it is assigning to welcome to JS. First of all, it will get the original value with the help of this statement document.get element by id val, and its inner HTML means inner content, and it will assign it the value welcome to JS. Okay, now as soon as we click the button, these functions get generated, and we will check, we will come to know that the content of the p tag has been changed from join hands for technologies to welcome to JS. So this is the first window. When we execute this statement, this is the output. There is a text, there is a button written over there, change text, and as soon as we click it, what happened? This paragraph content got changed. Initially it was join hands for technologies. So as soon as we click it, the content got changed. Okay, so with the help of this inner HTML property, it is possible to change the content of any element, of any tag. Now next one is inner text property. It is used to write the dynamic text on the HTML document, which will be as a normal text. Basically, it is used to generate the dynamic content, such as validation checking during the time of writing. As we have not completed yet, during the time of working, during the time of ongoing task, we can change, we can look at the content and we can manage it beforehand, such as we are providing any value to any text box, and it will not allow the uh, string value, it just require the numeric value. Or we are providing any password and the password has certain limitations. So as soon as we are writing, we haven't stopped it. Along with the writing, it is doing the purpose of checking. Okay, having the control over that. So this is possible with the help of this inner text property. It is used mostly to generate dynamic content, such as writing validation message, password strength, all this kind of work. So in this example, we are going to consider the password strength. Uh, we have created a form which name is my form. Here we have created an input type, a password element, a password field we have used. Initially, nothing is written over that password element. Its name, every element we have to provide ID or a name. So we have provided the name user pass, and on key up, as soon as we release the key means we have stopped. We are not writing more than that. So as soon as we release the key, which indicate that you have done your work, in that case a validate function will be called to assure have you done the correct or not. Okay, so as soon as the key up, you release the key, it will check. At the same time, it will call the validate, and inside the validate, what it is finding out, if document dot my form, it is the name of the form. Inside the form, there is a user pass. User pass, it is the name of the password field. Its value, what content we have provided it, it is checking for that with the help of this length property. So user pass dot value dot length, the length of the value we have provided to that password field, password element. The password is the user pass is the name of the password field, password element. Okay, so it is checking its value, that if its length is greater than 5. If it is so, in the message, this string will get stored. That will be strong password. Else means if its length is not greater than 5, means it is equal to 5 or below 5. In that case, it will store the message weak password inside this MSG variable. And finally, what it is doing, document dot get element by ID, my location dot inner text equal to MSG. Now, what does it mean? What is the meaning of this statement? That as soon as we release the key, we finally stop the writing. Validate method is called. It is doing what it is finding out, the value of that password field, and finding the length. If it is greater than 5, okay, strong password, else weak password. Now, where this MSG will get displayed? For that, initially what we have done, initially in a window, the strength is written already there. There is a span. Okay, the span is for a small chunk of code. It is within a line. It is not a complete block. It is just a small chunk of data. So strength is already written. We have taken a small span of space and given the ID my location. And initially we have written no input, the small piece of code, no input, and we have provided it inside a span tag. ID is provided my location, and on that span, a small piece, we have written no input. Initially, there is no input. Now, what happened? If ever we find that password is greater than 5 or password is less than 5, whatever, based on that, MSG has some message stored inside it, either strong password or the weak password. Then what it has done, document dot get element by ID. It is now searching in the document, in the HTML document. It is finding out that element which ID is my location. So in the document here, the ID my location, it belonged to this span. This small code where written no input. Initially, where there is written no input. So what it is doing, get element by ID my location. It will move over there and it will retrieve its inner text. Whatever is the inner text for this span, it is initially no input. So it will take it inner text and it will assign it the value of MSG. What is the final MSG is stored? Whatever the final MSG, it will get assigned to the particular ID, particular element whose ID is my location. That inner text will get replaced with this content which is associated with this variable MSG. So here MSG can either be strong password or the weak password. So it will no input will get replaced with the content of the message. So when we execute the program, initially what happened, there will be a password field whose name is empty. Initially there is no content. Name is user pass. On key up, as soon as we release, it will call this method validate. So here we can see initially it is written strength over there. Okay, this strength is initially written over there and no input. This span, before that span, this small piece of code, no input, just before it we have written strength. And initially the small piece of code written here is no input. This no input, this small place has got, and it is written inside the span, and this element has got the ID my location. And finally this my location dot inner text got replaced with this MSG, either strong password or the weak password, depend on what we have done. So initially when I execute the program, nothing was written over there. We pressed only three values, means three characters or three data, three values we have provided, and we have released the key, means we have stopped writing. So in that case, this method was called and it found the length was not greater than 5. It is only 3. So what happened? This else part got executed. MSG stored weak password and it replaced the inner text of the my location, this span where no input is written. It got replaced with this MSG. And what is MSG here? Weak password. Weak password when the length is less than 5. When we give length beyond 5, this span, the small piece of code, it got replaced with this MSG. That was strong password. This is the benefit of this inner text property. So that's all for today. So in this lecture, we covered about the DOM, the various properties of DOM, and accessing the field values by this document objects. Thank you. Take care.